Man, the news lately has been a tad overwhelming, to say the least. Anyway, why don't we take a break from doom scrolling and go ahead with the video I'd planned on putting out right up until last Wednesday. Enjoy. I think most D2 players can agree the Solstice event, for the most part, is kinda mid, and the prized loot is usually the armor sets rather than the weapons. This year, though, seems that Bungie's taken a page out of the Prismatic playbook, aka who really cares at this point? Just give them what they want. In short, if you haven't heard yet, the Solstice weapons have gotten a hard glow up this year for PvE and PvP. I'm talking about some weapons that many players, including myself, have never really cared about collecting before, now becoming borderline must-haves. Speaking personally for a minute, one weapon's perk pool refresh may completely eliminate my need to keep farming for a particular weapon that has both long since dominated the competition and haunted me because I've never gotten a 5/5 drop of the gun. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Potential spoiler warning, by the way, if you don't want to know about Solstice loot, including the new weapon we're getting, turn back now, ye be warned. While the weapon the PvE community will probably want to farm the most, we'll save for last. Why don't we kick things off with the weapon I'm most hyped for, Compass Rose. I am notoriously strict on the types of perks I look for on a PvP shotgun, and in my opinion, the Compass Rose never really stood up to the competition. If you look at some of the most used top tier PvP legendary shotguns, you'll notice that they all have one perk combination in common: Threat Detector and Opening Shot, the peanut butter and jelly PvP perk combo that has been a staple of the weapon type forever. At long last, in 2024, the Compass Rose is finally getting access to this perk combination. Not only that, by the way, but it's getting a potentially even better combination for PvP, Slick Draw Opening Shot. Hear me out for a minute. If we're talking about primary weapons, Slick Draw is a perk I often avoid. While I do appreciate insanely good handling, it does actively harm your aim assist cone size, which I'm not down with. However, while this is really noticeable IMO on primary weapons, harming your target acquisition on a shotgun likely wouldn't really feel bad at all, since you'll almost always be using it at near point blank range. And if you're a controller player, by the way, don't worry, because Slick Draw does not affect your reticle friction. Again, only the aim assist cone size. With all that in mind, I imagine that the aim assist penalty on Slick Draw will feel much less noticeable on a shotgun as opposed to a primary weapon like a hand cannon. To cut to the chase, Threat Detector gives you plus 100 handling only if two enemies are right nearby your guardian, while Slick Draw gives you that exact same buff 100% of the time, even if no enemies are near you at all. Definitely worth consideration, and we'll get more into Slick Draw numbers in just a minute. You also have the well-respected combo of Slide Shot and Opening Shot if that is your thing, but I'd personally rather have a handling buff in column 3. That's just me. Real quick though, why don't we address the 800-pound gorilla in the room? Will a 5 out of 5 Compass Rose live up to the gold standard energy slot PvP shotgun, the Matador 64, which has dominated shotgun usage charts for a long time now? The short answer is yes. Yes, it will. Check it. Here we have a standard God Roll PvP Matador. Feel free to nitpick both my barrel selection or the masterwork at your leisure, but I'm at the point now where I hard value additional handling over a smidge more range, which is why my ideal picks would be both Barrel Shroud and a handling masterwork. I see the appeal for other options, that's just what I'm interested in. Anyway, why don't we compare those stats now to those of a 5 out of 5 Compass Rose with a near identical roll. Accurized, Threat Detector, Opening Shot, and a handling masterwork. No Barrel Shroud though, because as you may have noticed, Compass Rose actually can't get Barrel Shroud, but it can get Fluted Barrel, which is fine because I actually like that better. It gives you 15 handling instead of 10. As you can see, these stats are really close to being identical. Yes, the Matador stats are a smidge better, but what if we compare Threat Detector Matador to a Slick Draw Compass Rose? With this version of Compass Rose, I currently have full bore and a range masterwork. Reason being, Slick Draw gives you so much handling that even with full bore's usual stat penalty, you're still hitting 100 handling overall. Good lord with that roll, by the way, 100 handling and 97 range at all times. Yeah, the stability isn't ideal, but I don't don't often get flinched out of shotgun one-hit kills very often at all. TLDR, new compass rows will absolutely be able to hang in PvP, and if it's easy to farm Solstice gear, I just straight up won't care to farm for a God Roll Matador anymore. I don't want to completely ignore the PvE side for compass rows. There's some respectable options out there. Trench barrel and 1-2 punch in column 4, as well as dual loader and threat remover in column 3. At the end of the day though, the compass rows will IMO shine way brighter in PvP and will explode into the Crucible meta hardcore. If Solstice ends and I do not get a 5 out of 5 PvP compass rows roll, I'm giving myself an F+. The next weapon we go over is a completely new weapon breaking out onto the scene, which I will refer to as Unnamed Bow, because even though we have all the data and info on the bow, we don't actually know what it's called. But real quick, skip this if you don't wear glasses. Only they'll understand. If you didn't already know, GlassesUSA.com is one of the biggest and best eyewear retailers in the US, with a gigantic collection of eyeglasses and sunglasses from renowned brands like Ray-Ban, Gucci, Oakley, and many others. Glasses start at $39, which are up to 70% off retail prices, so it's no wonder why they're really popular. If you've been to my streams on Twitch before, you know I like to talk a big game about blue light glasses. Thankfully, GlassesUSA.com offers a collection of advanced blue light blocking lenses, ideal for protecting your eyes at home, at work, in class, or from hours and hours of gaming trying to grind out the exact exotic class item drop you're trying to get. They sent me a few frames in the mail to try out. Not gonna lie, incredibly fresh. Picking out the frames was easy, but it's a risk-free shopping experience no matter how you cut it. Free shipping and returns and a 100% money-back guarantee within 14 days. Can't beat that. They also have a virtual try-on feature, so you can check out how new frames would look on you without actually having to go to a store. GlassesUSA.com is offering exclusive discounts only available for 24 hours. Just click on the link at the top of my description box to get all the details. Don't wait, check it out right now, and again, a big thank you to GlassesUSA.com for sponsoring today's video. All right, we back. Unnamed Bow is a lightweight frame void bow and seems to have applications in both PvP and PvE. Starting with PvE, this is going to be the first bow ever capable of rolling destabilizing rounds. Not gonna lie, at the very least, that does seem interesting. I know that bows don't currently have any champion artifact mods in the current episode, but hey, that could always change in episode 2. And even without champion handling capability, Unnamed Bow with destabilizing rounds and repulsor brace in column 3 is still a tempting option for both void and prismatic builds. You also have Golden Tricorn in column 4 if you're rocking an ability heavy build and want an easy way to really ramp up the punching power of your bow. Admittedly, I'm not a big bow guy in PvP, but I definitely can see immediate potential in Unnamed Bow in the Crucible. There's plenty of viable perks here on the table, but I want to talk about a few in particular. The first combo I want to bring up is Hipfire Grip and Archer's Gambit. While this is already a perk combo that you can get on the Hush bow, it's not exactly easy to get, as Hush has 12 perks in column 3 and column 4. Back in June, I saw a tweet of a guardian named Hynra Can Fly absolutely ripping it up in PvP with this exact perk combo and have wanted to try it ever since. Granted, in that clip they're using Hush, which is a precision bow, and Unnamed Bow is a lightweight frame, but it definitely is still something I want to try out. Another perk I want to call attention to, oddly, is Loose Change, which I almost never care about. It's very possible that this will be a forgettable garbage perk on Unnamed Bow, but I can't help but think of how easy it is to apply elemental buffs in PvP these days. If you're a Bleak Watcher turret warlock main, you dirty heathen you should at least consider trying out a Loose Change bow. Your turret will very easily apply slow to a target, and then bam, your bow now has almost 100 aim assist. Technically 100 on the dot if you have even one void targeting helmet mod, which would make it really hard for you to miss a headshot. Real quick, I'm aware that Unnamed Bow can roll Disruption Break, so if you're one of those sickos who likes to bow hand cannon swap in PvP, you might be tempted to roll with this perk to make your target take more damage from the follow-up hand cannon shot. However, if you're into that kind of stuff, you're probably better off just rolling with Lethophobia, a craftable bow, also void and also lightweight, which can roll not only Disruption Break, but also Slick Draw, meaning your hand cannon swap would be way faster. TLDR, I'm gonna grab Unnamed Bow for PvE builds featuring volatile explosion spam, but PvPers, you do you. Next up is the Something New hand cannon, which is back for its 3rd third ever appearance. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely some appealing PvE options here, but not a lot that we haven't already had on past versions of the gun, including perks like Headstone, Demo, and Wellspring. That being said though, I think I'm genuinely more interested in something new as a PvP weapon. I'm still a big fan of 120 RPM hand cannons in PvP, and to be completely honest, I'm going to be looking for a role with snapshot and precision instrument full stop. And yeah, I know that sounds really straightforward and boring, but something new quite literally will be the only hand cannon in the entire game capable of rolling that exact perk combination. I'm a big fan of precision instrument on my Adept Igneous Hammer. The extra damage the perk gives isn't insane, but it can help you fight the effects of damage drop off very easily and let you lock up 3-tap kills from further away than you normally would be able to with other 120 RPM hand cannons. The thought of being able to pair that together with snapshot seems like a really fun, reliable, neutral game weapon. Add on top of that for the first time ever, something new will be getting access to an origin trait it's never had before, Nadir Focus. That is such a more ideal trait for a PvP weapon than the former option, Dreamwork. Nadir Focus gives additional range and accuracy, literally for free by just using the weapon no differently than you normally would. So hell to the yeah on that, we love good origin traits out here. There are other options you could consider. Rapid Hit, To the Pain, Elemental Capacitor, Explosive Payload, and Kill Clip are all fine options in their own right. To the Pain might be an awesome pick if you pair the hand cannon with something that just gives you a butt ton of handling, like Ophidian Aspect on the Warlock. That way you won't miss Snapshot as much. To repeat though, Snapshot Precision Instrument is my lights out, head empty pick for PvP at the current moment in time. Icing on the cake, because something new goes in the kinetic slot, that means I can potentially pair both that and a 5 out of 5 Compass Rose together in PvP. Oh yeah. Last but not least, we come to the Solstice weapon that I think D2 players are going to grind the most, the crowning Duolog rocket launcher. In the past, I don't think there's really been much of a reason to use this launcher at all, but goddamn, this year the Duolog has been hitting the gym. Right off the bat, Reconstruction in column 3, Bait and Switch in column 4, aka the exact perk combo held by the uber popular PvE launcher Apex Predator. Now, before you start typing that comment, by the way, yes, there is one thing holding back the Duolog from being as powerful as the Apex, and it's the frame. Precision frame rockets are 6% less damage per rocket than high impact rocket launchers, and 13% less than adaptive and aggressive frames. And reminder, Apex is an adaptive frame. However, even with that in mind, a crowning Duolog would be a good choice to bring into a PvE activity if there's a strand surge on the field and your team's doing rocket-based DPS. Yes, strand grenade launchers are also a thing, but not everyone has a 5 out of 5 cataphract laying around in their vault. Also, yeah, the Semiotician is also a strand rocket launcher that exists, but it doesn't have access to Reconstruction or Bait and Switch. It does get Explosive Light, but reminder, Explosive Light doesn't buff Wolfpack rounds, whereas Bait and Switch does. Anyway, Duolog is also the only rocket launcher officially capable of rolling Reconstruction and Envious Assassin at the same time. I don't currently know how much this is going to be able to overflow your mag, but it is kind of hilarious to think about and maybe worth trying. Now, there's one more roll combo in particular I want to talk about, and I know many of you rightfully are going to laugh. Bait and Switch and Air Trigger. Yes, I'm serious, and no, I ain't hitting the bottle. I mean, no more than usual anyway. Crowning Duolog is officially the only rocket launcher in the game capable of rolling Air Trigger, and I don't know if you know this, but mathematically, Air Trigger is literally one of the best reload speed buffs in the game, rivaling frickin' Outlaw. The only difference is that Outlaw requires a kill to proc, and Air Trigger only requires that you jump. And before you say it, yeah, I can see the problem already of players potentially dying during a DPS phase because some goofy Peter Cottontail looking ass teammate jumped up in front of a friendly rocket shot. However, if teammates are standing shoulder to shoulder and not strafing at all, then in theory, this could be viable. Yes, Reconstruction gives you 2 shots right off the riff, but after that, it's back to slow reloading as the Bait and Switch timer goes down, as opposed to Air Trigger, which again, could let you get more shots off during that same 10-second time window due to the lightning quick reload buff. For the record, I'm not officially saying this will be the go-to pick over recon bait and switch. That is the very obvious role that I think most players will default to chasing right away. But I am saying that I 100% will be doing testing on air trigger, and I really hope it's a thing because it would be funny. Let me know down in the comment section what roles you're looking for and why, and ring the notification bell if you haven't already. When the Solstice event drops next week, I'll be sure to try to find out what the best farm method is and let y'all know with a guide. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.